Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Dave.
And we're Nfgeeks.
The Valentine's Day special.
That's right. Where we're giving special attention to Valentine's Day and Valentine's Day issues regarding the Myers-Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
And so for this episode, this is a very special episode of Nfgeeks because let's admit, David, that we've been hard on our SJ friends.
We have.
And family.
We've
been very hard on them. We've been giving them a lot of ribbing over the time, and they're feeling unloved.
Yeah.
Our ESFJ friend Skogel asked me why are you guys always ripping on SJs,
Mm-hmm.
and she meant it. So it's time for some SJ love.
Yes.
So for this particular episode, we're going to talk about all the things we love about the SJ types, and also to two special people regarding Valentine's Day. We'll save that for later. It'll be an NF Fun Fest for sure.
Oh, yes.
But this really isn't about NF. It's really about, an NF's talking about SJs. So, Dave, let's show our SJ friends that we do actually love them. What are all the things you love about the SJ temperament or SJs in your life? And you could be as specific or you like.
Just as dutiful to the person they love as possible. Like my parents, they really took care of me. They brought me up in as loving in an environment as possible. I come from a pretty working class family. Both my parents work 12 hours a day, and
like good SJs.
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
But still, it's just
no NF is working 12-hour days. Let me just make that clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Maybe writing a poem, but not at a job.
Yeah, sitting under a rainbow.
Right.
But still, it's just even though they worked all that time, they were still there for me. I still saw each of them every day, and they still made it. They still told me they loved me, and they, I was in plays when I was younger, and they showed up to everyone every day, all the time, just to see it. My dad would call out of work, which is, speaking about SJs, they never call out of work. They always show up on time or before then, even early, which I can say goes for both my parents, which is very admirable, and they were always there for me, and they always tried their best, so I'm very appreciative of that, and I do love them dearly. So, I wish them a happy Valentine's Day from the bottom of my heart. I'm very appreciative.
Oh, that's wonderful, Dave.
Yeah. So what about you?
Well, there's a lot of wonderful things to appreciate about the SJs, and I think and I've mentioned this before in the other SJ video, but really the thing I love about the most about all the SJs in my life is their dependability. I think their dependability, even their boring dependability, is actually very wonderful because you can count on them doing what they say they're doing. Being where they say they are at the time they say they're going to be there. And that's true about all four. I've had that experience of all four of the SJ types because I've been close to all four, actually, types. So, they're extremely dependable in their habits and in their being. And that does give a feeling of security to the rest of us. And I think that's important to NFs because, boy, some NFs are an anxious bunch.
Yeah.
All NFs have some angst, just period. But some NFs are some of the most anxiety-ridden people I've ever met have been
hypersensitive
NFs.
people.
Oh, super hypersensitive, yes.
And I think in some ways NFs really need SJs because if it wasn't for SJs, everything would be a chaotic, hypersensitive mess. No work would get done. I know a lot of my NF friends are very unmotivated and undetermined, and I just thought the other day, it's like, man, they really needed an SJ in their life. They really needed an SJ parent. So in that way, I'm lucky. I'm at least motivated to do my own things, have my own autonomy.
Oh, well, let me talk about it from the other direction. That's a great thing to bring up. Let me talk about it from the other direction, which is that as you know, Noah, who's been on Nfgeeks, is an ISTJ. He's my son.
Yeah. And
every parent should have the joy, or the joy of relief, of having an ISTJ son. Okay, for any ISTJ, for all the ISTJs out there, that's probably true about all four of the SJs, I think, but particularly the ISTJs I want to talk about because that's my direct experience, if you're the parent of an ISTJ, you know the joy of relief, the relief that other parents of other temperaments do not have. They do not have that relief. God help parents of SPs. Okay, speaking as a parent, that must be really rough. Because God knows what they're doing at any given time. But having an ISTJ child is wonderful because, you men know he doesn't drink, doesn't smoke.
No.
Doesn't do anything bad. Isn't out doing destroying property. I mean, he's exactly where he is when he says he's there, every single time.
Always comes home on time.
Exactly on time. Precisely on time. Like very precise, down to the minute. You can time him coming home, and as a parent, that's a wonderful relief. I don't worry about any of the things the other parents worry about because I have an SJ child, an ISTJ child.
Mm.
Now, Dave, one thing I wanted to talk about to really show that this is an SJ Valentine's Day special is to do a special Valentine's SJ discussion of our mothers. Yeah. Because mothers love getting Valentines from their sons. That's sort of a special Valentine's Day thing. And we both have SJ mothers. Mm-hmm. And so why don't you talk about your mom as an SJ and how you feel about that on Valentine's Day?
Well, my mom's an ISFJ, and
like my sister.
Oh yeah, she's very, very, very caring. I mean, she cares about a lot of things. A little too much sometimes. It's a bit worrying, but I don't know. But you can tell she cares. Mm-hmm. She's always cares about me. I'm a number one priority. If I'm out, she'll call me. Make sure I'm all right.
Oh yeah. ISFJs are notoriously very protective of children. My sister is the exact same way as I, so I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but I don't know. I appreciate it though because I feel like if I didn't have that protection, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I feel that you kind of need some rigidity in your life. You can't just be like, whatever, just do whatever you want, There kind of has to be some type of discipline that you have to instill in a child, and I feel like having that, I feel like my mother succeeded in that, and I learned a lot from that, and, my determination and my autonomy is directly connected to that upbringing, so I'm very, very appreciative of her, and I love her dearly. So, even though she doesn't watch YouTube, I hope perhaps I'll show her the video.
How does she exemplify any specific SJ value? How is she a good example?
She always shows up on time. She's very dutiful to whatever she's committed to. Be it me, her job, going to an event like a birthday party of a nephew or a niece or a cousin. My aunt, who is it my aunt? Or at least her aunt, is going through kidney dialysis right now, and she always visiting her every day, making sure she's all right and she has what she needs, and is very caring to her. I mean, my aunt's like 95, so she's getting up there in age, but my mom's still there almost every day looking after her, and taking care of my family, especially to her sister. My sister lost her husband to a heart attack recently, and she was there every day, cooking for her sister, and caring for the whole family, trying to be there, shoulder the cry on, or to just be there for support. So I feel that exemplifies an SJ, always having the duty and responsibility to the ones they love and are committed to. So that's I admire that.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So.
Well, this is sort of very interesting thing to talk about with Dave because, as you know, my mother passed away about 3 months ago. She passed away right before Thanksgiving, and so she wouldn't be watching this anyway, unfortunately. But she was an ESFJ, a complete total ESFJ, And a couple of great things about that is something Noah said when his grandmother died, is that he said to me, "Dad, it's the end of food." That's what he said, and it has been the end of food. What a great way to put it. My mother was absolutely fantastic at meal preparation and serving,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't just mean the cooking aspect. She was the greatest cook in the world, and a great talent has died forever. That's anyone who was eating at my house knows that, and Noah will concur. But it wasn't just in the cooking in the food, but it was also in the presentation of the food, and also that the food was for everybody. My mother would make a dinner or a supper or for a breakfast and it would be for everybody, and she would expect everyone to be there, and it was always for everybody, and the table would be set. It wasn't just a cooking thing, there was a whole preparation going on that was very ESFJ. And what was great is a classic ESFJ is that she wanted you to be there whether you wanted to be there or not, or whether she wanted you to be there or not. There were times throughout my life where she was mad at me, and we'd be mad at each other, for whatever. She'd be angry at me and not talking or arguing, but she would still cook the meal. And she'd be mad. She'd like, "I made this dinner, you're showing up." She would still want me to go. That's so like SJ. You couldn't get out. No one could get out of the dinner or the breakfast or whatever, even if people were mad. Everyone had to be there.
I relate to that though. I mean, my mom's a great cook. She recently made a shepherd's pie and it was delicious.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh yeah, she makes great shepherd's pie. She puts it in a baking pan and it's like
the right way.
Yeah, it's nice and crispy at the top and the bottom as well. It's got a nice it's like a pie almost.
The way hence the word shepherd pie. Gee, you should have brought some.
I know. What was I thinking?
Should have brought some over. Another way my mother was an SJ. I think that my mother was big on gratitude. Gratitude mattered to her very much so, in terms of how people were treated, receiving gratitude, giving gratitude. That was something that was very important. She was also a great, and this is very ESFJ too, she was also great at stockpiling. Now granted, it did sort of manifest itself in hoarding behaviors, but my mother stockpiled food as if the apocalypse was coming. Okay, like a good little aunt. And there is still food in this house that I'm still eating that she bought and stockpiled away. I remember I was in here once and I was looking for coffee. I was just going to make a coffee here, and I thought, sure enough, even though my mother's been dead, 3 months, if I look in enough cupboards, I'm going to find a coffee stash. And sure enough, coffee was found, stuck away, stashed in a drawer in the thing, just in case. She used to have candy stashes.
Oh yeah.
Too, yeah. Oh boy, what a wonderful treat that was. So like, it was funny. It did border on hoarding, I'll admit it, but it was great. Like, she was stockpiling, and it was great to always find a stockpile. And actually, it's been helpful these past couple of months, knowing that there's always food here and around here to stockpile and eat. Absolutely. So I'm glad that she did that. That was a very SJ thing to do. Yeah, I'm very happy for her.
The same thing: spaghetti sauce, pasta, tuna fish.
Oh yeah, on shelves.
Oh yeah,
stacked.
She hates an empty fridge.
Yes, absolutely. That's very SJ. They can't live with an empty fridge. Mm-hmm. They can't.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's always rewarding to open up the fridge and have it be full.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, what to eat. It's better than going into an empty fridge and I go, what to eat.
Right, in an NF house.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We're too busy worrying poems.
That's right, and worrying about love. That's right. We can't do anything. We can't do everything, I should say. All right, Dave. Is there any other love you want to send out to SJs?
I think I've said it all.
Yeah.
Really. There's no other way to put it. I mean, we knock them, but we possibly cannot live without them.
That's right. And you just go right on taking one for the team in your dutiful, determined way. That's, in your steadfast of holding the line as you do SJs. Mm. Now, keep in mind, tomorrow we go back to the rubbing. Okay? Let's make sure we're clear. Okay? Things go back to normal. But today, we love you and happy Valentine's Day.
We always love you.
Yes, of course.
We do this in good spirits.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely we do. We do it with great smiles and great spirits.
Yeah.
as we're feeling the pressure of your boot.
Sing.
No. We love you,
Yes.
all you SJs, and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy
And if you have an
Valentine's
SJ in your life, give them a kiss.
And a hug.
That's right. And let them know that you love them. Happy Valentine's Day,
Happy
SJ.
Valentine's Day. Take it easy.